Welcome to a little different episode of Bridget Generation in Sales and Outreach. Usually, I'm the person who's behind the scenes, but I'm producing the show today and helping Butch prepare for our guest and listening to conversations. But today, I'm actually on the show itself, and I'll be interviewing Butch. So, Butch, before we start this show, we know sales was changing, and but after talking with so many different people, I think we are both have developed a much clearer picture of how it's changing. So before we start, Butch, can you please tell me when we first started Bridging Generations? What did you want this show to accomplish, and how has that changed as we have gone along?
Thanks, Ala. So, for those of you who don't know, and that's most of you, Ala is really the boss of this podcast.
Oh,
I'm
thank
just the
you.
front man. Uh, so, yeah, Ala, when we started the show, I was a baby. I am a baby boomer. Although I've been told now there's a new category of Jen Jones, so I'm an old Jen Jones. And it initially started to get baby boomers learning how to build, know, like, and trust using the modern technology, for lack of a better way to say it. And as we've had, I don't know, what have we had? Close to 60 shows.
Yeah, almost 60,
And,
yes.
and what we've learned is not only do the older generations need to learn how to use the modern tools, the younger generations need to learn how to build, know, like, and trust uh, with the technology. And what we learned is we call it bridging generations in sales and outreach. And what we've learned is you really have to meet the buyer where they are, not where you wish they were. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later.
Great, that's really awesome. So, from what you think, so what does trust look like in sales today compared with the way that you built earlier in your career?
Well, when I started in sales, which was several decades ago, um, everything was done face to face. That began to change with well, actually a big explosion in the way we could connected is email. I mean, before email you had what I think we now call slow mail, and that's the only way you could do that. Plus you never really knew if they got it or not. uh,
Mhm.
what what has changed the most is that I would say is that older generations may not be may not be used to dealing with social media, for lack of a better term. Uh, and younger people, that's what they do. And we had one guest on, John Ellis, and he was sharing that uh, he thought he had a deal done, and he sent the guy an email, crickets, another email, crickets. And he called him and he said, "Hey, I thought we had this done. And I've emailed you twice and crickets." And the guy said, "Oh, I never checked that email address." So John
Ooh.
said that now the first thing he does with a potential customer is say, "How do you want me to deal with you? You want mail? You want email? You want text messages? You want, you know, smoke signals?" And you have to deal with the buyer the way they want to be dealt with.
I think this brings us to the right to the next point that we want to discuss because if buyers are getting to know us differently, we have to be willing to meet them where they are. So when you say meet buyers where they are, what do you mean by that?
Um, a couple of different things. And these studies were done a couple of years ago, and they may not be exactly right now, but I would bet they're pretty close. McKinsey did a study 2 years ago, and the average B2B buyer is 39 years old. And
Oh,
I would I would bet I would bet an amount of money that I didn't want to lose that very few people that are older baby boomers have any idea that the people that they're really selling to are that age, and
okay.
that age is where They probably want text messages. They probably want emails. They probably want access to any other type of technology, and that's the gap. That's the bridge that we've got to cross. Uh, the second thing that I would talk about is, and it's another study, and it's that
Mhm.
95% of any company, any whatever you're doing, 95% or less of the people that you want to sell are in buyer's mode. That means you got 95% out there that aren't in buyer's mode. And
Oh,
how are you keeping that trust, keep building that trust with those people so that when they're ready to buy, they call you? And a big part of what we do behind the scenes at Bridging Generation and Sales and Outreach is help people with that. And again, it goes a little bit back to where you have to meet them where they are. Uh, do you need to be providing good content for on email, with emails, with blogs, with Substack, with LinkedIn,
newsletter,
with
post,
all those different things? And
exactly.
when the buyer is ready to buy, he's in buyer mode. You want them to remember you.
So,
And
so what
go
you're
ahead.
saying is that if they are not buying today, I have to keep building their trust by being visible to them.
And providing both visible and providing information that they want, that they consider to be valuable.
So, what does saying visible without constantly selling look like?
What does visibility look like when you're not selling? Is that what you said?
Without constantly selling look like? Yes.
Um, Go back to what I just said. You've got to provide value. You know,
Okay.
you can send a funny cartoon or something, and they might remember that for a little while. But what people are looking for, what your buyers are looking for, is value. How does this help me? Whether it's directly about their product, whether it's about the marketplace, whether it's about the economy and how that's affecting them. It, People don't care about, hey, how are you? We got great stuff. Can we come see you? They want value from their vendors.
Okay, so we have talked about where the show started and what we have learned, and some of the things our guests have made us think about. So, where do you want to take bridging generations from here?
Oh man, that's not fair. Um,
I'm
Want to be
putting you
ranked
on spot here.
number one
Yeah.
on LinkedIn, Spotify, and Apple. No, what we want to
Oh,
do is keep providing valuable information for people that watch us. Uh,
yes,
we've had a wide range of guests. I think we've had guests
exactly.
in their early 20s to guests in the 80s, and they
Oh,
all have the
not
same
even early
problem.
20s. We had the last guest I guess was 18 years old. So we had like
Yeah,
different generations over the shows. Yes.
yeah, and the person that's going to be on our show next week is well into his 80s.
Yeah, exactly. So we are doing different generations each week. So what conversations do you think we still need to have?
I think for the younger generations,
Yes.
they have to they have to accept that trust is important. People want to buy from people they trust, and they can use the tools that they have, the tools they grew up with, to do that. It's not like they have to change anything. On the on the older end, um, is you don't have to meet face to face physically. If that's what your customer wants, you do it. But this is face to face, really as good as the other, and it goes back to what I said. You've got to meet the buyer where they
Meet
are.
the family. Yes, exactly. So I think that this is really a good place that we have reached, and probably let's leave it there. And I'll go back behind the scenes after this episode. And but I have enjoyed getting the chance to turn the questions on you for once. And if there is one thing that I've taken away from producing these conversations, it's that modern sales isn't asking experienced people or to forget everything that made them successful, but relationship still matters, the trust still matters, reputation still matters. So what's changing is where the relationship began and how people get to know before they are ready. So is there anything else that you'd like to leave our guests, or I'm sorry, our audience? I'm sorry, I'm used to being dealing with guests, not audience. So is there something that you would like to leave our audience with?
Well, I was going to ask you what you were going to leave them with, and you just told them. So I believe we're
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, awesome. So if
So
people would like to reach out to you, how would you like them to reach you?
uh, easiest way is LinkedIn, a direct message on LinkedIn. And also, all my contact information is on LinkedIn. You should be able to see it below here. And one thing I always say, Alan, you've heard me say it on every show, uh, we want to help you. Feel free to contact us anytime. And I promise you this, if we can't help you, I'll tell you. And we probably know somebody who can. So don't hesitate.
Yes, and I
Ollie,
think that's really what
you
this
were
show
great
is
up
all
front.
about.
You think I can produce the show and you can be the front man?
Oh no, I can't do that. This is a one-time thing. I'm not doing this again.
All right.
So thank
Well, I
you,
want to
Butch, for
thank
having
everybody.
me as a co-host with you.
Well, thank you all, and thank all of you out there that watched us today.
Yeah, thank you for joining us, and we will see you on the next episode of Bridging Generation.